We are recording.
So, Jim, are you envisioning that as being like a whole Rolang interpreter, including macro engine, or something that just processes, like pre-processes macros and then spits out valid Rolang to run with any arbitrary interpreter?
I was thinking of using Rust macros to program processes. Essentially, the pi calculus. And you know, I mean, there's some kind of introspection and capability in Rust. I have to look at it, but we should be able to use that. In other words, we would make row calc program. We would do row calc programming in Rust semantics using macros. And with introspection, my hope would be that we could generate row calculus, generate the row calc, so that when we wanted to deploy something on our chain, we could automate that. I mean, Rust is simple. It's the safest.
Rust is not simple.
Language there. It's not simple.
No.
Well, it's a little mind bending in that, you know, as soon as you pass a variable, you don't have access to it anymore.
No, it's not simple in that there are many moving pieces in it. You know, the description of Rust is many pages.
Okay, I need to be more familiar with it, I guess. I've only been through introductory material. I haven't studied it. And, so simple, it may not be, huh?
No, it's got a very expressive type system, which is nice. But, you know, for example, it takes the compiler a long time to do its job because it's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, if it compiles, it's probably correct. Well, unless you use unsafe code everywhere. It does allow you to do unsafe things if you insist.
If here's a question for you, Dan. If we incorporate Rust in the macrolang, when behavioral types comes around in the Venus project, will there be any type of conflict that, you know, behavioral type says, you know, everything has to be correct in order for it to go through, but Rust somehow creates something that's not necessarily correct, but it gets passed along? And is it possible that the behavioral types could miss it, and it's something that's not correct would get approved as a smart contract?
I have no concept of what it means to mix into Rust. Rust has row calculus has 6 rules to it, right? Or 3 or 5 or whatever it is, that you can put it on the front side of a t-shirt. It's been done. Mm-hmm. Rust has, you know, 1,000 moving parts. Rolang is somewhere in between. And I have no idea what it would mean to mix Rust in.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the macros for process computation would be a small subset. I mean, you would have Rust available.
Well, the whole business of doing, so Rust has procedural macros as well as the by example stuff, but the simple thing, if you want to grab the gist of what they're doing with macros, is to go grab scheme macros. Yeah, so scheme is quite simple. But this is saying, if you want to define your own food that looks like proc args body ... then here's how to expand that syntax into some other syntax. This is the sort of thing they were trying to add to, or Mike Stay and Greg have been talking about adding to Rolang. I haven't quite got my head around it. I've had a couple conversations with him. It involves expanding the parser in ways that I have not quite got my head around.
Yeah, that's the same thing I'm striving for, basically.
But yeah, I mean, Rust is not a simple application of these ideas. Scheme is a simple application of these ideas. And you could probably backport Rolang syntax into Rust into scheme syntax, and then you'd be all happy.
That could be. I mean, scheme would potentially be a second choice. For me. I suppose it could run in the browser also. With respect to the behavioral typing, right now, all the code we're generating is essentially untyped or very weakly typed.
Yeah.
Except where we explicitly create typed objects or whatever in our code, which is one of the things I've been investigating. But that would change. That would change. That's runtime type checking, whatever. Whereas with Rust, we could define. We could use strong typing with the row calculus that we develop with the row macros, and then basically generate safe untyped Rolang. From that is my vision, which may be more difficult than I'm imagining right now. So, it's like all the type checking is done at compile time.
So wait, how do Rust and Rolang relate? You can program in Rust, but I don't understand what that has to do with Rolang.
It has to do with mainly it has to do with the protection that Rust provides. I mean, only one person can read a variable at a time, and it's essentially locked until they write something to it or send to someone else.
Okay, right. That's a description of an interesting part of Rust. Again, what does it have to do with Rolang or row calculus? This is what I'm not understanding, is how it mixes in with Rolang. Maybe you're not saying that it does. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a different thing, but you're uh, uh, there's, I guess an analogy between channels in Rolang, or names in Rolang, and variables in Rust. Um, which makes it a little better, makes it better in my view, um, for performing row type operations. And our bottom layer, so to speak, should be a very safe and efficient place. So along with that, so all things considered, it is an appealing substrate underneath the process language, in my view. I mean,
I see.
so you want to tell us about your code review of Casper Labs?
Okay.
What was that last part?
He's interested to hear about Casper Labs, browsing around the Casper Labs code.
Yeah, I didn't read any code yet, but I read all their docs and their license. I'd be down to try to get it running if you guys want to do that, or work on the RoCamel stuff or whatever.
Okay, let's try to get it running. I want to spend a small amount of time on that because I'm a little bit pessimistic.
Oh, really? Because of the two executables?
No, it's just that it's kind of alphaware and it's got lots of rough edges.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to follow our nose until it's clearly, we run into a clear, dead end.
What did you
Yeah,
learn
that's cool.
reviewing the code, Dan?
Say again?
What did you learn from reviewing the code besides it being alpha?
Lots of things, but I think if the code will run, I think it will be easier to understand what's going on by poking at it, We'll be able to touch it and feel it and stuff. So let's try to get it running first, and then I'll tell you what I learned. Okay, so from source tarball or Docker or download, somebody pick.
My plan was going to be from a deb, but Docker probably would be an easy way to go too.
Deb is reasonable. You want the freshest bits, or what do you? Okay, now we got another choice.
Yeah, yeah. The release I think I saw on GitHub was from 3 weeks ago or something. I assume they've done a lot since then. I would maybe try master.
Okay.
That bottom one looks promising. Oh, there's client too. There's client and node.
And there's two different kinds of node.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this one's from January or something, so that's not happening anymore.
Oh yeah. You're right.
All
So
right.
maybe we need those top two: the Casper Labs client and Casper Labs node.
Right. I'll grab that one. Okay, so for those following along at home, I grabbed the client and node. So it looks like the node is maybe the first thing to do.
It says on their README that you need OpenJDK 11. I don't know if you have that. Oh, what do we?
Oh, I'm not sure I wanted that, but okay. So let's see.
Not creating home directory.
Oh, right. Okay.
In fact, oh, it says there's a warning part way up. The home dir / non-existent you specified can't be accessed. No such file or directory.
Right. I have to do. I don't know how to use a computer anymore, do I?
I never knew how to use system control. Didn't see anything there.
Keep saying unrecognized service. All right, well, I guess we can just do this, huh?
Oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah. All right, it seems to have worked. Okay. More notes. All right. Did I install this one? This is the, no, the client is the,
I think the client might be the equivalent of the thing that has our node eval and our node deploy and our node propose, but I really don't know that.
I wonder if it did this for us. This is the Rust part. Okay, here's the client.
All right.
Yeah, this was where I got stuck because, yeah, it says contracts are in this repo, but that's like maybe a private repo or something.
Oh. Clone this locally. Oh yeah, I wonder if they know that or if that's a mistake.
I got the impression they were going to have some kind of release in a few days. Can't remember where I read that.
They had a big event yesterday.
Yeah, they did a demo, so they brought their own software and ran it.
Yeah.
But they didn't say, here's a release, you can run your own software. It's scheduled for some point. Where did I see that? It wasn't issues.
What doc were you reading just now that said the link to the repo about the contract examples? Developer.md? Okay.
Right. So I just clicked on this link and went, oh, I can't find the examples. And then I started reading source code, looking for the examples, and never found them.
Yeah.
I thought maybe this had just been a different, the link had been slightly broken or something, but no, it's just not there. Well, I mean, it's probably a private repo. Probably all these were private until a couple of days ago. Oh, an hour ago. What was updated an hour ago? Visualization tool thingy. Henry Till is working on making it clippy happy. Okay. Are you interested to step back and just browse the source at this point?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm filing an issue for their broken link right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm probably not going to contribute based on the license that they've got.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear you didn't like that license.
License proliferation is a bad thing. They just caused...
Wait, I missed an important word there. License what is a bad thing?
Proliferation, making more licenses. This just means that lots more lawyers have to read that license.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly means that. I don't know if I'd say it just means that, though. I think at least they think that they're addressing something new that the old licenses haven't addressed, because it's, it used to be like you took someone's software and then you ran it and you used it on your system, and now we're building this this live network that I can leave or join, or malicious actors could try to capture with this particular software. So I think they were trying to address that.
Well, we built this thing called the web. Anyway, yeah. I don't think legalese in a license is a good way to address any of the issues that they're trying to address.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there, but I think I would
be scared away this
that about all the
right
licenses that exist.
It means that this contributor is not touching the stuff.
Yeah.
Not contributing anyway. I'm a consumer. So the short version is they took the Rolang R node, ripped out Rolang, and inserted uh, WebAssembly.
Yeah.
So and the node, where's the node? Is now a this is kind of the overall thing. But what it does is it runs the peer-to-peer protocol and the Casper protocol, and then when it's time to execute a smart contract, it actually makes a gRPC call to a bunch of Rust code. And the interface there is this. This is the interface between the node that's doing Casper and the execution engine for WebAssembly and contracts and stuff. The first thing I notice is they've got two different parts of two different pieces of code that you put in a deploy. There's the payment code and the session code.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, there's all this wallets design that is sort of coming down to that, but they just sort of decided that. When I built my prototype of deploying contracts, I mixed them together. Anyway. The rest, okay, so there's some kind of global store, which is kind of like our space, but I don't quite understand it yet. Let's see. Describes operations that are allowed to do on a value under a key. You're allowed to read, write, add, or no op. I'm not sure what add means. A key is either an address, a key hash, or a uref, and those are kind of like unforgeable names, I think. And I'm not sure what the difference between an address and a key hash is. Oh, this is like the difference between a regular Ethereum account and a smart contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Contract, let's see. Yeah, so a contract has got some WebAssembly bytes, but then it's got also the sort of capabilities that come along with it, the unforgeable names that come along. Those are, I think those might be imports. I'm not sure. In other words, there's things you got to supply when you're going to invoke the contract, I think. So this transform stuff, or they run a smart contract, and then what comes out of the WebAssembly engine is a list of effects. In other words, here's the things that this code wants to do to the world.
Yeah, modification of the global state.
Yeah, so they've got the identity transform, add int I32. Not sure what that means. They got a write, an add key, and a failure. Storage error mismatch. There's lots of error handling stuff. So execution effects. Map from key opt. Key transform. Oh, it's a pair. Describes how the deployed modifies the global. Is that what you were reading from?
No, but that sounds like what I was expecting.
Right. Op map and transform map should be of equal lengths. What's an op? Did we already do that? Maybe not. What is an op? There they are. Read, write, add, no op. So I don't know if this is like supposed to be the same keys in the same order, in which case it's weird that it's not a map from key to a pair of op and transform.
Yeah. I actually, when I was writing my row evaluator in Haskell, I modeled a tuple space this way, where it was a map from like channel to sends, and then the second half was a map from channel to receives, and then later decided it was a better design to do exactly what you just did, which is a map from channel to pair, and then the pair could have sends or receives.
So once I figured out that they had sort of sawed the two halves apart like that, most of the time I spent reading Execution Engine. Where'd it go? There it is. So this is where all the Rust code is. And the way I start reading Rust projects is to look at cargo.toml, and this just basically says this has parts. And so then you pick a part. Like VM looked really interesting, except that it doesn't really have anything in it. Yeah, that just says, okay, there's a WASM cost thing. And this basically is just a data structure that talks about what different things cost.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So mem costs you 2, initial mem costs you 4,000, grow mem costs you.
So when on lines like 3 through I don't know 24, what are they doing there? Just making an object that has like a bunch of methods? And
it's a structure that has a bunch of fields. This is a product type.
Okay.
In Haskell, it would be a record.
Yeah. So it's got a bunch of fields of type unsigned int 32, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then down starting on line 32, they give them just all values. Okay. I'm with you.
This is a default method. So
what does that mean?
It's a method called default. And you call it, and it gives you one of these objects with all the things filled in.
Okay.
And that pattern of having a default for a data structure is it's a part of the Rust standard library.
All right.
So VM turned out to be only that. Storage is pretty involved. Engine, I think, is where the actual stuff happens. Yeah, they have it so you can run the contracts without having all the node running and stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Let's see. So
I missed something. What language are contracts written in?
whatever you want, as long as it spits out WebAssembly.
Okay.
Yeah, what are the practical languages that do right now? Rust is a big one. Are there JavaScript compilers, I guess, probably?
There's a thing called AssemblyScript, which compiles TypeScript.
Oh, cool.
Well, yeah, kind of. It's cool until you realize that all of your variables have to be like uint32 and stuff. You can't have like JavaScript objects.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like,
A little bit of a limitation.
Yeah. I read this really good article though. Where'd it go? Where did I find it?
I mean, you can use C, C++, JavaScript,
Not JavaScript.
not JavaScript.
Well, not JavaScript. It doesn't. I thought that was the one that was supposed to be like first to compile to WASM for web browsers.
The other way around. You can compile WebAssembly to JavaScript if you don't have a built-in WebAssembly engine.
Oh, interesting.
Good trick.
Well, people have been compiling C to JavaScript for quite a while now, right? The Linux kernel has been running on JavaScript for, that blew me away. The first time I saw the Linux kernel running inside a JavaScript engine, I was like, what? Where did I find this thing? It's a really good article because I want to be able to find it again, and so I'm going to work on this a little bit. It was about optimizing hot paths in JavaScript using WebAssembly. Go. Darn it. No, I guess I'm not sharing history across browsers. I was reading it on a different browser. Yeah, I think this was it. So they had this thing that rotates an image by 90 degrees. So very straightforward. This is JavaScript here. So on one of their browsers, it takes over 8 seconds, and so they wanted to do it in WebAssembly. So they did it in several different languages and benchmarked them and like talked about how mature things are and stuff like that. So it's a really good article. In the end, they chose Rust, and at first the Rust WebAssembly file was 4K or something bigger than that, and then it ended up being like 300 bytes. Where'd it go? Okay, the C thing is 260 bytes. The glue code is 3.5K. Well, AssemblyScript provided us a 300 byte WebAssembly with no glue code, so that one was good. Where'd it go? Okay, well.
Hey, a little bit tangential here. There's a doc in the Casper Labs repo called validator.md that seems like it's geared more for just running a node.
Well, I think I did that much. That was this thing over here, right?
Sorry, I was looking away. What was that?
I think the stuff discussed in this validator.md is what I got running originally.
I think you made it to this part at least. You got those log messages, and it generated a key for you.
Yeah, they want you to make a directory or something. I didn't, so it chose some default directory or something.
Mm-hmm. So then what was next after? Yeah, so quick tour of the directory structure. That all sounded basically the same as it was with our node. And then this is where configuring network is where I got up to.
So those are the defaults. And then So the question is whether we have this thing. I expect that's part of the node.
Oh yeah. Starting the execution engine. So what were the two parts you downloaded called? Client and node?
Yeah. Well, there were Casper Labs client and Casper Labs node, because there's something called just node.
Oh yeah, right.
So the thing that listens for gRPC and then runs the contracts, it's not clear that I have that yet.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, we can get a feel for Rust by building it. We could see whether the Rust compile times are as bad as I remember. Oops. I don't have Rust on this machine. Interesting. I think you're supposed to use Rust up to. Let's do this. Cannot coerce this. Oh, great. Okay, so we've got a little bit of bleeding edge action here. Rust toolchain. Oh, nightly. Do we get Rust up? Oh, wow. Forget how you do this. If I ever knew. Okay, let's see if they've got a little description of how to build the execution engine from source.
I was reminiscing last night about all the things that I used to be expert at in my different jobs while I needed them.
Yeah.
So 2000 January 23rd. Yes. Oh, February 23rd. Well, maybe that's good. Okay. Okay. Oh, crap. Not sure if I have Proto C. Well, then what do you do?
So in Validator MD, it seems like they're describing two pieces, the node and this execution engine. But then in the actual repo where they're collecting binaries, it looks like they have two pieces, the node and the whatever they were calling server. So I wonder if they changed the naming at some point, but like didn't update the docs. Yeah. Or client, yeah, client. I'm wondering if the client is what used to be like the execution engine.
No, the client is the thing where, like you said, you issue requests.
That was my working hypothesis. Was there anything that makes you think it's right, other than the name?
Yeah,
That's what
I read the code.
Okay.
So Nix is not happy. This bugs me to sort of gum up my machine like this. I like sort of Rust or Nix and Docker things where you can just say, "Oh, forget all that." You know, the container just completely goes away, and the Nix stuff just completely goes away. Let's see. Whatever. Surprised they didn't give us a little command to add this to our path. Oh, you're supposed to go to the com directory under there. Well, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do more of this stuff. It's grabbing the December 4 version of the compiler. So this is one issue with Rust, is that things are moving, and these guys are evidently using unstable Rust features, which means you got to be on the bleeding edge of the compiler. The nice thing about that is that the Rust tools for being on the bleeding edge are pretty straightforward. Once you get this Rust up thing, then everything is fine. So now it's compiling. So here's where the slow compile times would come in. These are all These are code that somebody else wrote from crates.io. So WASMI, that's the WebAssembly interpreter or execution engine or whatever. I wonder if it's a compiler. Interpreter by the parity folks. They actually called their format WAT. Yeah, there's an S expression syntax for WebAssembly. Unoptimized debug build. Oh, that's why this was going reasonably quickly. The difference in speed, execution speed, between an optimized build and an unoptimized build is like 3 orders of magnitude. What was my first? Yeah, the debug took 3.7 seconds to do these mastermind solvings, and the optimized build took 0.026 seconds. So that's how many magnitude? 1, 2. Yeah, 100 times faster. Yeah, a release build takes a small part of a second to solve the whole thing. So this is going to be slowish. Then what do we do with it? I was supposed to install some proto-C thing. Oops. Well, that's quick. Yeah, it's going to scribble in user local bin.
So Henry Till is over on the Casper Labs team?
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Pretty recently, I think. Let's see. There's his little 5 commits. Abner is on their team. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I don't know if I know him.
He's a guy that I worked with in the bounty program.
Oh.
And there was sort of conversations about whether he wanted to join the R-Chain team, and it never went very far.
Yeah.
I don't know this guy.
Yeah, me either. He wrote that validator.md that I was reading. He wrote that and committed it yesterday.
I don't think I know this guy either. Igor.
I don't think so. I don't think I do either.
This guy's familiar. Can't remember what is which name that, because they're oops.
So,
The team is huge.
how suitable, Vlad?
Say again?
I didn't know Vlad was in there.
You didn't know the what?
Vlad.
Vlad
Oh,
is playing both ends of it. Now, what's the suitability of using Casper for our chain? We would have to.
none at all. Well, I mean, I guess they might be able to send some network packets to each other, but they wouldn't meaningfully interoperate because the one runs Roland code and the other one runs WebAssembly code.
Right, we would have to run Rolang and WebAssembly.
Didn't you mean, Jim, didn't you mean like if they have good consensus stuff worked out in their code that we don't have, can't we, pull those patches and use their ideas?
Yeah, I don't know how it would be. I mean, at some point, the consensus algorithm is distinct from the contract language.
Yeah, I mean, their software architecture makes that very, very clear. They're on different.
Yeah, I really dig that. I mean, I don't know about the two different executables thing. That seems like a pain, but I think it's cool that they separated those two layers so nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to redo the consensus part in Rust. Oh, okay. Well, I wonder where using data dir there. Okay. Where's the sock? There's no sock. Why does he keep building it over and over again? and the root of node. Did this get built somehow? Well, that's a shell script. Something tells me this is not going to quite work yet. Whoa. Downloading 0.5 internets. That was a joke that David Becker, anyway, made one time. Anyway, stuck with me. Nope. Losing. Oh, maybe I gotta go. Becker, that's there's a smart contracts directory, huh?
Yeah, not much in there.
Right. This is the client. This is the bridge between the Casper layer and the execution layer.
All right. I'm gonna have to jump out pretty soon.
You got fun stuff to do today?
Yeah.
You're supposed to say, no, I'm cleaning the garage.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much fun stuff we're gonna do. We got uncle and aunt up from North Carolina.
Oh. All right. It's mildly annoying that they erased all the Git history, so the code that I write doesn't, if you do git annotate or blame or whatever, it doesn't show who wrote the code.
Yeah, like somebody made the initial commit that has all of the old RChain stuff in it, you mean?
Right. Okay. This is not the version where I wrote a bunch of documentation, so I don't have to be annoyed about that. Hey, look at that, it built. Where was I? Oh. This one looks small. Okay. So aside from the fact that I don't have any contracts, I think I have it all built.
So what all, I mean, did you get the piece we were missing though? Wasn't there some like server or something? I forget what it was called.
Well, both the execution engine, I think I built that, didn't I? Where does it put the results?
Oh, Target maybe? Oh, there you go. That looks good.
Yeah. So, but I built everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is running over here. And the Scala thing's running over there. But I don't have any contracts to deploy, so I'm kind of stuck.
I'm gonna read that, I guess.
They keep putting this kind of thing. No, they keep putting. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't give you any
Right.
specific examples. They just say, your contract goes here.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be at least one somewhere in this repo.
Well, they've got it. I'm pretty sure they've got a whole pile of them. Well, a pile of them, and the repository is just not public yet.
Yeah. Oh, batteries.
I forget. Did you file an issue on that? Oh, right. Yeah. Josh's battery died. All right.
Thanks for the review, Dan.
I added a readme to something. Okay. I added a readme and a license, and I'm about to add a contributing. So,
All right.
anyway, talk to you later.
Thanks, Dan.
Sure.
Yep. Have a good weekend.
You too.
I'm debugging some row line. I don't know if you
Oh, okay.
want to participate or not.
Yeah, I'll watch a little bit.
All right. Well, I made an improvement to the MyLocker program.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea being that it would define underscore peek to peek at your mailbox, receive to get stuff off of it, and ascend to put stuff in your mailbox. Okay, three capabilities that are in the locker. I would return them so that it could you could write this much more simply.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would have to, get the map of the locker, pull the peak out of it, put that in squiggly brackets, making the code pretty ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So for utility, I just wanted to predefine peek, receive, and send.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't work. Okay, this for statement here actually should match what's returned from the locker because it has these three things in it. Now, I tried it initially using a dot, dot, dot. Of the rest of the stuff in the locker in case there was more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a dot, dot, dot underscore locker to capture anything else that might be in
Okay.
the locker. That didn't work. And the way that it printed out in the log was weird in that it took out the comma between the send and the dot, dot, dot. I don't know why I did that. But in any case, it didn't work. So I took that out since the only thing in my locker are these three things anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The peek, the receive, and the send. So I decided to make a MyLocker 2 where I'm going to split up. I'm going to read the locker separately, and then I'm going to bind to get the the peak, the receive, and the send in the in a match statement.
Mm-hmm.
So might be a little bit easier to do this, test this from Linux rather than a million commands in here. So I could create my locker. Row. And for now, I'll just paste this in there. I'll execute it from the from Discord. Okay, so this line here, I'm going to simplify quite a bit. And that I'm going to C percent, change percent. I'm going to read this into underscore locker. I read all the items into the underscore locker, which you can use in your code. I'm going to put your code in here. And I'm going to then oops. I'll then do a match. No, underscore locker. And I'm going to match on a peak. Going to match on these three variables, and if it matches, I'm going to do and I'll put some braces around here just to protect it. Then we'll do the code. And then, oops, we'll end the brace. And I don't know why I got an 8 here. I'll write that out for posterity. But I want to write a procedure to do this. Oops. Oh, stick this in here. what happened to that? Okay. We'll define that. My locker 2.
Okay.
And we'll call my locker 2. And we got a bug.
Now I'm looking at, so you have the eval $ my locker 2. You got a, oh, I see the second parenthesis. Never mind.
It looks like I'm missing, oops. I'm missing, I didn't, I didn't add a parentheses for the match.
Okay.
Okay, and then I have the 4. Another 4.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should put a new line in there. Makes it hard to read.
Yeah.
So, and finally, the new.
Mm-hmm.
So now they match, and I'm going to move this for the next line just to make this more readable. I suppose I should fix the indenting. So for now, I'm going to put the float scale in here, even though I can't run this right now. That's for pasting into Discord. And then I do try again, and we get another error. Line 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have the match format wrong. Let's show another macro that uses match
All right.
for each, just for comparison. This matches map.
There you've got 2 spaces. You've got match, and I think that's space.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any difference.
No. Okay.
Looks like I have the indenting wrong here, but that wouldn't do anything. This is almost the same thing. So, what could be wrong? Hmm. This says character 57. So it has
Okay.
to be this line here that's wrong. I got equal equal here.
Isn't that correct?
No. Match syntax is like so. Equal,
Okay.
greater than. I see the equal greater than, equal greater than.
Oh, right, right. Okay.
But it is odd that this was line 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Oh, zero. And that was okay. 0. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how the line number is off.
You think they're counting 0?
It shouldn't be.
Huh.
Maybe I'm removing one of the new lines when I execute it somehow. Oh, you know what? No. More likely that I would add a new line. Still didn't read the mailbox. Didn't match. So let's suppose oops. Suppose I had a case here. Match everything else. And if we match anything else, what do we do? Standard out. Bang. Star underscore locker.
I think you gotta.
We'll just print out the contents of the locker.
I think that's a pipe and not a
Oops.
bang.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wonder if I put a new line. After the definition, if it would show the right line. The way I often write these things is I put a new line here. And maybe in this case, it'll give the right line number. I don't know.
Okay.
Make that a coding standard, right?
You're right.
Okay, so proc variable underscore locker used in the name context 1116. 11 go. Oh, it's not in 11 anywhere. Still off one line. Proc variable used in the name context. So I have two choices here. I can choose to make locker. I can take this off this @ sign here. But I think we're generally going to use it as a process, not as a name. So I'm going to take this off. I had to either take off the @ sign and the 4 when I bound it,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm really saying the name of the process locker. Here, and we always send process and receive names. Okay, so, oops. And I missed again. I used to this. Oh, I didn't put the new line in. I put the new line in here. Okay. Control C. Control V. Expected non-62. How did that happen? This, I'm missing an underscore. Wonderful. Not sure how I did that. I mean, I wish I thought I fixed that anyway. And that's because the underscores got taken out when I copied and pasted from Discord without. When it wasn't in a code block.
Oh, okay.
You know, I guess things between underscores are italic or something.
Okay.
Okay, it ran, but it didn't. It didn't show my inbox. It showed my locker. My locker has an inbox. It has a peak and it has a receive.
Okay.
I called it send. That was my error. Oh, me, oh, my. So, uh,
Oh,
now the question is, what if this doesn't match? Um, and I think we fixed it. Yay. Oh, missed it. Maybe I should have, well, it's not quite ready. But this time we should get my inbox. I have a chat, Jim Scarver, from Jim Scarver. Hi, me.
right. Okay.
So,
So help me understand what I'm looking at there. So chat corresponds with is that the peak, the receive, or what's in the inbox?
that's the peak, yeah.
That's the peak. Okay. And then Jim Scarver, that's the receive. And then hi me is what
That's
is in.
who it was sent to.
Okay, so receive. Jim Scarver was the receive, and then okay.
Okay, this is the same. What we're doing here with my locker is the same thing as the peak command.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, if I chat Jim Scarver, hello again,
Okay.
now I'll have two things waiting. Okay, if I show peak now, you can see peak is
Oh, okay.
kind of messy. Um, now, um, we could improve that quite a bit. Um, but let me just run this again. Go ahead. That's what was got in the buffer anyway. What? What happened to the hello again? Oh, I got an error.
Oh.
I forgot the comma.
Oh, so you have to have chat, quotes, Jim Scarborough, close quote, comma. Okay.
Okay.
Well, you got
I should probably make this a little clearer here.
you've got a I, the letter I and a comma. Is that correct?
Where?
In the Discord.
Oh. Am I typing the VI commands and
Yeah.
okay, it should say sent.
Okay.
Wasn't paying attention.
Oh, okay. So when you're writing something to the locker,
To the inbox.
to the inbox in the locker, you should to the confirmation that it's you should receive sent as the confirmation.
Right.
Okay.
I should probably call this inbox also, just for consistency.
Okay. Yeah.
And really, if I get any other outcome here, I should print an error, right?
Okay.
So, mailbox not found in locker. Comma. Okay, should make it pretty usable, I guess.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
know what
liking
it
it.
says if you don't have a locker,
Mhm.
or if your mailbox is out of date. You need to do a new mailbox, a new new inbox.
Right. Okay. So maybe we can do that
Um,
once we're done.
well, you can do that anytime.
Well, I want to make sure I know what I'm doing to have you on the line.
Shouldn't be able to do anything wrong. Go to bot testing or testing bots and type new inbox :
New inbox. Okay. So tell me.
then I can send you something.
Okay.
um, okay, let's
Okay. So I'm going to type in inbox : and that was all I needed was inbox : correct?
new inbox :
Oh, new inbox :
So the only, I guess I guess this is good enough as it is to make your, to use it as the My Locker
Okay.
instead of the My Locker 2. We'll replace My Locker with I think My Locker was probably broken anyway.
Right.
Okay, the only thing I didn't do was I didn't put in that new line, which didn't really help, but I think I'll put it in anyway. It just looks a little better with that in there. Okay, so, oh, shoot, I did it again. I called it My Locker 2.
Oh, yeah.
My Locker, and we'll put the code on a new line.
Okay.
Okay, that's final. Well, we're at it. We can redefine peak.
Okay.
A lot simpler now. We can have peak. We can take all that out. And put in here oops, shit, dodo. I have no tick, tick, tick scale, huh? And I'll take return. Sure. And we could say dollar my locker. Parentheses. And then we could say underscore peak. Get rid of all this junk. And then we can get rid of all this stuff. And just put it in parentheses. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah. So the $ types, what does that represent?
Okay. With CPP macros, if you have a
Right.
variable number of arguments,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you put it with a dot, dot, dot.
Okay.
And of the setup where you can give a type, you can give a type and a subtype, but you always give the return channel as the last thing.
Okay.
Types return means very dot 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 means you have the types followed by the return channel.
Okay. So those are just standard terms in CPP.
No, it's just conventions I made up.
Oh, okay. You created the. Okay. Someday I'll have to look at those.
Yeah, I mean, I just choose a name for the variable number of arguments.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. Okay, I got you. Yep.
Um, and so if I do peak, it didn't define.
Yeah. So I was
So
thinking, don't you need to define peak?
Fine, huh?
Boy, I was thinking, boy, Jim's on a roll here. I didn't want to interrupt, but that's what I was thinking.
Define.
There we go.
Okay. So then we could do peak, colon, standard out.
Okay. Okay. There are your two chats. Hello
Hi.
again. And hi, me.
And
Okay.
they're both chat Jim Scarver. They both have the same type and the subtype. So let's do a
Yeah.
new directory. Did you type? You did. Did you
Let me
type
do
make my locker?
Okay. So, no, not yet. So, okay, I gotta. First, we said I needed to create new inbox, but I need to do.
Oh, yeah. You already have a locker. The locker hasn't changed.
Okay, that's what okay. So, but I need to. So within my locker, I do need to create. Do I have an existing inbox, or do I need to create a new inbox?
You need a new inbox.
Okay, so I currently do not have an inbox in my locker. Does that sound correct?
You have one, but it's an old one.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a good point. So I can have multiple inboxes
Well, the new
inside my
inbox is
locker.
going to replace the old one.
Oh, okay. So you can only have one inbox at a time in the locker. Is that correct? Okay. So I'm going to go new inbox colon and then hit return, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
No space.
Oh, so new inbox is all one word?
Yeah. Oh, command names or macro names have no spaces in them.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Whoops.
Okay. So
This is wrong. Oh, no, it isn't. That's probably right. now if you do a peak star, did it work? Didn't work.
That didn't go into my
Oh,
inbox.
maybe it should have said sent.
Yeah, that's right. It needs to say sent. So you've got
Why
your
wouldn't
comment.
Why wouldn't it have said sent?
Well, let's do something simple and just do chat colon quotes.
Do a P colon star STD out. See what? I mean, it should be a nil now. Maybe the new inbox is broken. It didn't say accessing locker. Maybe you should just start over and do a make my locker.
Okay. Okay. So now when I create do I need to do new make my locker or
No.
just make my locker?
Just make my locker.
Okay. And with this, whenever someone creates or does make my locker, do they replace their old locker or do they get
They
two
lose
lockers?
everything.
They lose everything. Okay. So whenever someone, if they have an existing locker and then they go and create a new locker, that existing locker gets deleted, removed, and that new locker takes its place.
It's actually still there, but the new locker has a new URI, and your locker gets defined at the new URI. You could go back to the old one by defining the old URI.
Okay.
But
Okay.
they're totally separate, totally independent.
Gotcha.
But the new inbox appears like it might be broken.
Okay. So it's this.
If we make a new locker, that'll make a new inbox too.
Oh, okay. So make my locker colon. Is that correct?
Yep, all lowercase.
All lowercase. Okay.
So this defines your locker address and your inbox address.
Okay, good. So my inbox is Steve Henley. And
so now I should be able to
there's my locker address in my okay. Ooh, it's sent.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I want to take a peek. So let me look at that command again. So it was just peek colon, correct?
We call it star standard out.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so we show peak. We can see how it's defined. And it takes an argument. Types and return. So,
okay.
Let's suppose I do I could have sworn I had a new directory here.
Oh, I see. So that's the defined. So peek takes an argument. So that's the the star standard out. Okay.
Right. Peak with no art. Okay, and we should fix that really. Um, uh, we should say undefined or wrong number of args. Is that good enough? So if we do a peak colon now, it'll tell us that peak undefined, dollar peak undefined or wrong number of arcs.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Could you go back to the that other screen where you added in that error message? I was on another screen, so I just wanted to see where you added in that error code.
Okay. Well, it was where I said undefined.
Oh, okay, there we go. I just wanted the.
What I'm doing is I look in the row line. I match on a group. Parentheses introduces a group, which has a backslash dollar sign. Now you have to use backslash because dollar sign means end of line.
Okay.
So dollar sign character, I have to put a backslash. And then in brackets, you put the characters. You put the characters that you're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And so the legal characters in a name are A to Z lowercase, A to Z uppercase, underscore character, and 0 through 9 digits.
Okay.
And the star means any number of them, any number of the valid name characters.
Okay. All right.
And since that's the first parentheses in the expression, that'll be number 1.
Okay.
That'll, it returns an array of matches.
Okay.
Array 0 is the whole thing, really, the whole line that was. Now, if there was a match at all, 0 will give you the whole thing that was matched against.
Is this Unix that I'm looking?
So
Unix that I'm looking at? What length syntax?
This is a regular expression.
Okay.
Slashes is a regular expression in JavaScript, and there's really 2 types of regular expressions in Unix. There's Unix regular expressions and there's Perl regular expressions.
Okay.
And JavaScript supports Perl regular expressions, which are a little more powerful, a little different. In a Unix regular expression, I would have to use a backslash to show that the parentheses was special.
Okay.
Whereas we don't need it in a Perl regular expression. Actually, we needed a backslash of its. In Perl regular expression, backslash always means it's not special.
Okay.
Whereas in Unix regular expressions, sometimes it's not special, sometimes it makes it special.
Yeah, I'm just
because regular expressions evolved over the years to become more powerful.
Yeah, could you scroll up? I just wanted to see what's at the top of all this code. I'm just getting oriented as far as.
Let me just
go ahead.
What we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're replying to the Discord message. Okay, we're finding $name, and we're saying that's undefined or the wrong number of arguments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify that log. And where we are is we're in the case of we're doing an eval. So we're executing some rolling.
Okay.
That's the command we're doing.
Okay.
Okay, we're watching the tail so that anything put in the log is returned to the channel,
Mm-hmm.
the tail of the log. Author, okay, we're defining the private key and the public key and the username. Okay,
Okay.
using the Discord identity, the message author username, and creating the toy keys from the ID.
So is this file that we're looking at, is this like the master robot file?
This is the robot, yeah.
This is the, oh, okay. I didn't realize that I was, what I was looking at.
The robot,
So go ahead.
Control G, we can see server.js.
Server.j, oh, okay. So all this was done in JavaScript. Is that what we're looking at?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So the robot was created in JavaScript.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's helpful.
Okay, so it writes to the file, and then ultimately it runs our node val after massaging, after running it through the CPP macro processor.
Okay.
It pipes the command through all this stuff.
Okay. Wow.
That stores it in the file /temp/author name .rowx.
Okay.
And it converts it to a file /temp author name .row, which is what it ultimately executes with our node.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then it takes the output from our node and truncates it at the storage contents.
Okay.
So when it finds the storage contents is huge, we don't want it all to go back to live on the Discord channel.
Okay.
And we do an X. I forget what X does. And then we quit.
Okay.
And this is the sed command.
Okay.
Okay, I could have done this with JavaScript, but we had to run our node command anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way we can do an eval right now. So I might as well use the Unix commands here.
Oh, okay. So you're using Unix.
What I do is I take global.h, which has all our macros in it, everything we defined.
Okay.
And then I have an end.h, which basically shows where the end of all the macro definitions are. And then the standard input dash here, which is the thing we typed in, which is massaged a little bit. Save the errors.
What type of file is that? A .h?
.h, a header file. That's
a header.
normally what's
Okay.
standard for CPP. usually
Okay.
a C or a C++ header file.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's where you would, define all your stuff.
Okay.
We look at global.h. We can, oops, right. We can see we have our macros defined here, like dollar standard out is defined
Okay.
as standard out, row IO standard out.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, and these are all these definitions are effectively on one line. In CPP, a new line, multiple line macros have a backslash at the end of each
Okay.
line to indicate there's a continuation.
Mm-hmm.
But then those get taken out anyway, so it doesn't preserve the lines.
Okay.
I decided the lines need to be preserved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I just have a special string, quote, tilde, tilde, quote.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Colon, no, slash, quote. I guess I have to protect the tilde. Tilde is meaning invalid operator. What? Invalid character after the percent. Why does that not work? Huh. That's bizarre. And then it's not percent anyway, it's tilde. Okay, you can see that this is defined as that, the other. Okay, if I echo dollar this, I see it's on 3 lines.
Okay.
Okay, where these things are, it puts in where these quote tilde tilde quotes are. They represent the original, where there were originally new line characters.
Okay.
Okay, so we can see here in Make My Locker, it has lots of new line characters.
Okay.
Right, every line. But this is all on the same line in the global.h file.
Gotcha.
And that makes it easy to manage this file too.
Okay.
1 macro per line.
Right. Now, I see up the top where it has defined ballot. The other day when I was in there and I did defined ballot, so did I erase everything that followed?
Well,
Was there?
this is defining ballot as nothing, which is no good.
All right. But was there something
But-
there at
but-
one time?
But fortunately, it was redefined. So I can
Okay.
delete this one
All right.
and look for dollar ballot. And I find another one
Oh, okay.
where that's defined as nothing. So I'm going to delete this one too.
All right.
But it only obeys the last one.
Hope you're cutting out.
Where the hell is ballot?
Ballot not found.
Weird.
Hmm.
Did I define ballot? Maybe I never defined ballot. So we can do an eval. Pound include. A pound include is one of the CPP directives.
Okay.
So why did it stop typing? So voting.row is basically a slightly modified version of Dan's voting
Okay.
program, and we can execute it by including it. In fact, we couldn't paste it in here because Discord has a 2,000 character limit.
Okay.
So we have to put it in the file and execute it from the file.
Okay.
Okay, and you can see now it defined ballot.
Okay.
And the reason being is that when we restarted our node, we lost the old the URI, the registries was lost.
Okay.
So we needed to redefine it before we can use it.
Okay.
Okay, so this defined the modification that I made to the voting.row was just to define ballot.
Okay.
So now ballot's defined. And if we look here, I'll go to the end here, we can see the last thing defined
Oh, okay.
is ballot. And you see there's a lot of duplicates in here, like every time your locker knots changes, it adds another one.
Every time the locker knots change. Okay. Okay. So,
yeah, with your old locker, you were up to 6.
right.
And your new
So
locker, you used twice.
it keeps that historical record of all the activity.
Well, not really, because
Oh, okay.
on a fairly regular basis, I run the undo
Oh, okay.
Script. Oops. And dot. Oops. And dot slash undo Dutch sh. And this
Okay.
goes until it finds no, and it removes the duplicate until it doesn't find any.
Okay. So that's kind of the ongoing maintenance to keep everything clean.
Yeah, I don't like to do it too often because it provides a way of recovering from
Right.
a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you type in a dumb command that does something dumb,
Uh-huh.
I could just go into the file and remove the macro, and the old one will still work.
Okay. Gotcha. That
That's that. Okay, everything's okay. So now all the duplicates are gone. It only has the current value of our nonces.
okay. Interesting.
Now this
Gotcha.
one here, this locker name nonce, that was a bogus. That's interesting. I guess because they were the same, it didn't delete it. Weird. I haven't seen that before.
Hmm.
But that was a bogus name created because of my bug in the
Right.
program. I defined lockernauts without an underscore.
Score. Right. Right.
Okay. Um, so this, we can see that Dan's test program ran. It looks like it's about right.
Okay.
Now so now we could make a vote now. We could do a new ballot. Color. And we could improve this macro too. I
Hmm.
mean, this we could make it so you just list the proposals without having to put them in a set.
Okay.
That would make it a little friendlier, right?
Sure.
And
Mhm.
we can use the dot for that.
Okay.
We have the name, comma, proposals, dot.
Okay.
And I think we'll probably do that, but not right now.
Okay.
Okay. And if I do a peek of ballot, I will see one problem with this is if you forget to put the return channel, it doesn't it doesn't fail well.
Yeah.
It's like kind of silent.
Mm.
Okay, and you can see that I have a ballot, I have a chair capability, and I have a get winner capability.
Okay.
Okay, and if I can do let me do a find ballot. You see, these are all the macros that deal with ballots,
Okay.
and we're going to allow to vote. Steve Finley, color, and now you can vote on a color.
Okay.
So it's going to be, so there's really two ways to do that. Vote color, color, comma, vote blue,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So let me practice that here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that worked. I think that nil is normal. I hope. Okay, now I had to allow myself to vote.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you notice here I had a chair. Where was I? I had a chair capability and I had a get winner capability.
Okay.
Now, I should have a voter capability as well. What? I think I know what's wrong. That's a vote capability. Not a ballot capability, it's a vote capability. So I have a vote capability on color.
Okay. There's a distinction between ballot capabilities and vote capabilities.
Yeah. I'm not sure that there should be, but there is.
So if we did a
We could
find, if we did a find on vote capabilities, we would get the list of the capabilities just as we did with find ballot. We got the list of ballot
Right.
capabilities. So with so find ballot, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 capabilities. So if we do find vote, I'm curious how many capabilities will we have?
I missed something there.
Okay. I'm not sure if was red one of the options.
I think so.
I think it was white, green, and blue. Or maybe,
Apparently not.
oh, you got it? Okay.
It says valid proposal, which means it was one of the options.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, red, green, blue, I think. Or something.
Agree, blue. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so then we can do vote results. Now, if you type that, it won't work. You can try it.
I think you got a spelling issue.
Uh,
The results with an R. R with a D. With a net results.
what do I do now?
Voter results. You close quotes.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Okay, so what? Why don't you try vote results? Vote
Okay.
See what
The
happens.
results color.
Valid color not found. Okay. You don't have valid permissions, right?
Okay.
So if I do a share, Steve Henley, valid color, now you should be able to get results.
Okay.
You become a chair.
Gotcha. Oh, neat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, new Vectory collab. Okay, this is some debugging is still in there. The message is directory collab. Suppose we don't need all that debugging. We got a grant capability. And what the grant capability does is it allows me to create a capability to modify a specific key in the directory. So like a person can update their own entry, but they can't modify anybody else's.
Okay.
Okay, it has a read, which we want to give everybody in the directory. And it has
Okay.
a write, which we want to give to some people who can maintain the directory,
Okay.
along with the grant capability. So, and I can share with you a directory collab. Okay, so now you're going to be an admin. Oh, I spelled directory wrong.
Okay.
Okay, so now you have a grant, a read, and a write.
Okay.
Okay, now,
But it's only for my username.
right.
Okay.
So your private key is needed to access your locker. So only you have access to it.
Okay.
So we add user to, so the add user is going to put mailbox in there. In the directory. Okay, and so it added your inbox there. So that's really a better way of finding your inbox is there. But what this does is we can now send capabilities to everybody in the directory.
So, okay, I'm not quite clear on add user, how add user was different. I'm not quite sure what add user gave us.
Do a peak colon for a peak colon directory in quotes.
You want me to be,
comma,
you want me to be, you want me
collab.
to type this?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get to, get back to my screen here. Okay.
Okay, the problem, I don't know why I did that.
Why'd you get an error?
Camel case.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, since you use camel case, I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so um, do
Okay.
what are you supposed to do? A
Let me
peek
make sure.
of directory in quotes.
Peak colon. Okay, quotes. Okay. What was after directory?
Collab.
Collab.
We created the collab directory. We added you and me.
Oh, okay. Now I understand. For some reason, I didn't, wasn't following before. So
Collab, not collab.
collab.
Didn't and you had another problem here. You didn't give a star standard out at the end, which
Okay.
is why it was silent. You don't put that, you don't get any output.
So I have so after collab another comma before star standard out.
Right. No, the signature of the peak is types return. What?
Oh, I misspelled collab again. I was getting distracted here. I'm not spelling collab correctly. So here, let me get that fixed.
Okay, everybody's flying. No.
There we go. I think we got it this time.
Pretty close to done. Okay. So wait. So you have a change key. So if you make
Okay.
an inbox, you can update your inbox in the collab.
Oh,
You
okay.
can update anybody else's.
Okay. So I'll have an inbox on my username and then an inbox in the collab directory.
Oh, it looks like I shared with you. Admin. Yeah, I did. I shared admin with you already. So because you're a member, the add member added the change key capability, which you don't need because you have a write capability to the whole thing.
Okay. All right.
But in an update mailbox, it would probably use the change key. You know, some kind of, if we had an update mailbox procedure,
Okay.
it would go in and it would change your mailbox so that you would get the stuff in your new inbox.
Okay. So if I just want to send, go ahead.
Every time we add capabilities to inbox, it sort of outdates your old one.
Okay.
If we do read directory collab. What? What happened to my read directory? Didn't do anything?
No, I don't see that it did anything.
Oh, I see what happened.
What happened?
It updated my.
I see. I also sent you a message as well.
Right. They were happening at the same time. So the output of both is below.
Oh, okay.
The read directory doesn't seem to. Oh, yeah. You know why? It's got the standard out.
Oh, standard. Okay.
When it's quiet like that, that's probably what we did.
Wow. These are little helpful tips to
Yeah. I mean, if we show. Well, yeah. Or if we, when we do a find, read, dir, whatever. Oh, find colon, read, dir, Let's see, read directory, takes a name and an arg return. What happened?
I misspelled. I didn't put my quote correctly.
Ah, wrong quote.
Yeah, so let me fix that.
Okay, so anybody who's added to the directory gets a read capability and a change key.
Okay.
So you can see Steve Henley and Jim Scarver in there.
Okay. Neat.
And we can do things like how do we do this? We can evaluate well read directory of web. Let me do it. A new ret in collab, comma ret. Okay, that's the return channel. So we made a new channel called ret. We do a read directory of ret, and then for members from ret. No,
Is that pipes? Is that pipe supposed to be there before the word for?
Yes.
Okay.
In parallel.
Okay.
That's the only constructor in Rolang is the pipe.
Okay.
In parallel, we're going to read the members from the return channel. And then for each of the members, and that's a process again. For each of the members, okay, this introduces a name. Okay, if I said at members here, then I wouldn't need the star members here.
Oh, that's good to know. So if you had the at members there,
Right.
then you said
that's
you
the name of the members.
right. Then you wouldn't need that star.
I wouldn't need the star. The members would be the data is processed in Rolang.
Okay.
For each of the members, what do we want to do? Let's do a stand. Out. Standard out.
Sounds like houses are
Great.
burning down in there in Brooksville.
Yeah. End of the send to standard out. End of the for each.
Yeah, you need three of them, right?
Well, I put the
Three.
wrong brace on this side. This should be
Curly brace.
this should be a brace here. And if I can remember to hit shift here, put this on multiple lines here for each. And then I have the end of the end of the for and the end of the new.
So are we doing a define or we are doing an
We're doing an
eval?
eval. We're just running this.
Okay.
I mean, we
Okay.
could define a function. We could define
Oh,
a macro that does this.
Gotcha. So we want to do an eval, run it first to see what we get for output, and then we can define it.
Right, if it does something useful that we want to do.
Oh, this is tremendous.
Okay, and we might make an argument out of the code that we put in here or something.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So with my user, and so I'm a user in the Colab directory, I can create these little macros, and they'll just go into my inbox in the Colab, and they won't interfere with won't go into the main robot directory.
No, everything's global now, which is
Oh,
why
everything's-
we work in the testing bots channel so we see what each other does. If
Okay.
you just want to show and echo stuff, you can do that in the privacy of robot. And you can evaluate stuff there too, but if you're defining stuff or changing stuff, you should do it in the public space.
Okay.
Uh,
So is that a distinction between the two channels, the robot channel and the testing bots channel?
yeah, the robot is a private channel.
Okay.
We're direct messages with robot.
Okay.
It's direct messages. It's not a channel.
Okay.
Yosabe?
Direct messages. So well, I'll figure it out. It's, I guess, understanding the difference between doing things in robot and doing things in test bots. So one thing is testbot. Is that a separate instance of is that a second node? Is robot one node and testbot another RChain node?
No. There's only one RChain node.
Okay, so there's only one RChain node, but robots is different from the testing bots.
No, they're not different at all. The only difference is that in a direct message channel, nobody can see what you screwed up.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, if you in testing bots, we can see what you screwed up. And
Oh, okay, that's right. I gotcha.
Let me put that scale in here.
Yeah, it seems like we needed something at the beginning.
Well, it's not necessary, but it doesn't show. It doesn't show what you really have if you don't put that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You got to put it in code block, otherwise it screws up what it shows you. The row lag is.
Okay.
Um, okay, so we didn't get any output from this the last time. So it reads directory, call lab, return. Well, let's see what we get now.
Do we want ... after before the red?
We're not defining anything here.
Okay.
The ... is only to define variable number of arguments in a define.
No, but I thought the underscore ... was to get everything that's in there, not a particular thing.
It would match everything. It wouldn't get anything.
Oh, okay.
Underscore is unnamed. You lose it. You don't know what it is.
Okay.
There's no standard out. Why didn't I get that error before? Because I didn't get that far. Dollar standard out is convenience. Convenience macro, it just defines standard out.
Okay.
Now the read directory before returned the directory. A lot of these things can be simplified quite a bit. Now, it's already pretty simple. Redirectory name or return. Big directory name return.
Here you have return comma $ standard out. Above in the eval you have new $ standard out comma return. They're reversed. I don't know if that matters.
There we get read. I'm a little confused here.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, so this worked, I guess, when I just read the whole directory, and I didn't give the name, right, of the directory. So I have a bug in this program, and that's got to be the last thing. It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
um, so no, we did a redirectory collab to standard out, and that worked. Now we do a redirectory collab to return. We read numbers from the return, and we don't get anything. We don't get anything back. I mean, it makes me wonder if it's gone. I mean, it couldn't be gone. Still there.
Okay.
Yet, when we get the members from return here, we don't get them because it never prints this.
I'm not quite clear. What are we trying to do with the collab directory? So it was,
Well, we were just trying to access it, and I was just putting out for each member is great. So it would
oh,
say,
okay.
it would output that Steve Henley is great and Jim Scrover is great.
Okay.
Okay, just as a demonstration of this, I mean, what we would be doing is we would be, for example, we would want to be able to give all the members of a directory the right to vote in on a ballot.
Okay.
Okay, this is the main thing that we needed in order to actually run a ballot.
So let me back up here, make sure I understand. Let me make sure I understand.
Who's allowed to vote?
If we put everyone that we put into a directory, say everyone, we put 10 people in the collab directory, and then we can, with one command, give all 10 people the right to vote in that directory. So
Right.
it's like, okay. Yeah, that would help facilitate.
Just, for each of them, but something is wrong with it. I don't know. What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not getting that far. It's not reading the directory.
Okay.
And I don't understand why.
Hmm.
I don't know if we can take this. And instead of doing an eval here, we can do an echo. Now the echo, instead of running it on our chain, it just shows us what it was going to run. Okay, so you can see that this generated all this row length code.
Right.
Okay, so here it peaked at the directory collab. Okay, it didn't say error, so this must have matched. Oh no. Okay, so peak. At directory collab return. Right? So if we did a eval, dollar peak, well, return, we can't do return here. We do standard out. So we get the permissions.
Right.
No, the redirect, the read returns the right stuff. Okay. So we get the return value here. Then we get the directory, comma, dot, dot, dot. We're looking for a list. a little bit hard to read this. Copy it. And just paste it in the file here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That way I can see the matches of the parentheses
Yeah.
better. Of the okay, so that's the for each down here. Here's the peak. Okay, and this ends the match. But down here is where I'm doing I'm reading I get back a list from the mailbox. Okay, and I'm taking an item from that list dot dot dot,
Right.
and I don't get anything.
Mm.
And the reason I'm not getting anything is because there's only one entry. There's only one entry for that in that list. And this is looking for there being other entries in the list.
Okay.
Now it's funny because sets and maps don't act that way. Dot 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 underscore could represent nil. No, no other entry could be nil.
Okay.
But in lists, the dot 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 doesn't match. Well, I mean, I'm not sure about that because the how did this work? So it does a read. Does a read of the directory with one argument. So it gets back the whole directory. And then in parallel, It reads ret. I'm wondering if somehow I'm screwing up things with using ret too many times here. Yeah. Well, it looks like we that our last thing we hit a bug,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it will be resolved.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see the problem right here. I think. Okay, so
The braces. Well.
okay, well I read ret. No, this is okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the directory that no, I don't know. You have an additional brace before the pipe. You have
Yeah, you have to do that when I do a dir get
okay.
to make a name out of that, or to get the name of that, it has to be in braces.
Yeah, but so there's those braces. There's a brace after the star ret, and then there's a yet another brace. Those two brace, that one, and then the one to the right, go one next to it. What is that's the brace before the pipe
Yeah.
match to anything? What does that match to?
So that's the problem. Problem is that we're in a macro. I should use all names which have underscores, so they're
Okay.
not confused with variables that a user uses.
Right.
I try to, you know,
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
always followed that. So
Okay.
some of these, well, we want to define them more simply if we can,
Yeah.
and obey the practice of using underscore variable names.
Okay.
Okay, because now if I use another name, return, okay, that should solve the problem.
Okay.
And what happened to my dot scalar?
And then you need the
Okay.
tick at the end.
Oh, I echoed it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can see we have return in here instead of ret
Right.
times. Okay, for members, it will return, so we're not confusing it with ret.
Okay.
So that's what happened here. We had a race condition. Who's going to read ret first?
Right. Okay.
And once we read ret, it was empty. You know, it was like, in any case, we don't know what we were reading anymore.
Gotcha.
Were we reading this or were we reading that? So this shouldn't have been an echo here. This should have been an eval. We didn't want to see what it was going to do. We want to do it. What did I do? I lost the scale again.
Yeah.
No, it still didn't work.
Yeah.
What happened? I didn't get the return. I copied the wrong thing, I guess. URN. URN.
You got to do Scala eval.
Didn't I just copy that whole thing?
You must have copied another one.
Maybe I didn't copy.
You still have echo. I think you need eval.
I definitely copied the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it still failed.
Yeah.
But I think we solved one problem. And
Yeah.
we must still have some race condition
Okay.
because we know the read directory works by itself.
Okay.
Oh, I still have a red here.
Oh, they all have to be returned.
Right.
Okay.
In the macro definition, I should have used underscore red. So
Okay.
this confusion.
Right. I gotcha. Oh.
There we go.
Wow. Success. That's
On
awesome.
that note,
Yeah. Good job. It was worth hanging in there.
yeah, thanks. You know, it's almost impossible to test these things by yourself because you can't type commands for another person.
Yeah.
You know, it's I really appreciate you hanging in there a bit.
Yeah. Well, hey,
And
now,
hopefully you'll get the hang of this and actually be able to contribute to the development of your application.
that's my goal. I've got a project now, and I know what I want it to do, and
All right.
utilizing these tools to get there.
Yeah. So your job is to see what commands you need.
Okay.
These are the commands I want to work. This is what I want get them to output.
Gotcha. Commands and then what
And
do
you
they
know,
do?
and we may consider enhancements to robot
Mm-hmm.
at some point to do some of the things.
Okay.
One of the things we wanted to do was an output formatter. So instead of getting this raw output, we could, format something that substituted these fields into a text or something.
Okay.
Okay, rather. Okay, and then I also mentioned the event processing.
Right.
In other words, you may have some manual steps that you have to do that you want to automate.
Okay.
And if somebody comes in and does a register,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they only have their own permissions. They can't do things with your permissions.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay, so you may want to say have something where on the event such and such, this is what I want to do with my permissions. So this event that somebody else did, okay, they only have their own permissions. They can't do things with your permissions. Okay, so you may want to say have something where on the event such and such, this is what I want to do with my permissions. So this event that somebody else did,
Okay.
then you would do something with your permission. You know, as an admin, you might do
Oh.
other things for that person.
Gotcha. And,
And-
and that would
And, you know, those would be manual if we don't have the event processing.
event processing. Okay. That was helpful. Yeah. Good. I like it.
Okay.
All right, Jim. Enjoy your weekend.